All right. So our next section is called difference quotient. It's an operation that we'll use inside of a calculus class. So for some of you, this is something you'll never actually encounter because you'll stop after maybe a statistics class or a pre-calc class, or or whatever. So, but like I said, this is something we still cover it. We still talk about it. So okay, so we have this formula right here. So when I say difference quotient, I want you to think this, okay? That is the difference quotient formula. This is right here, okay? So when you think difference quotient, you think that. So if you have a sheet of paper that you keep to keep track of formulas that you're going to need when it comes around to a test, this is what you need to have memorized. So if you don't know what difference quotient is, then you would not be able to do this problem. And you'll see when you get into your homework assignment, it's not going to give you the difference quotient formula. So what does this mean? Well, it's like a combination of things that we've done in the past, and it's really not that crazy. Like I'm making it sound like it's something incredibly hard. So we start this guy off, and we're going to do f plus x of h. And then I'm going to change colors here just so it stands out. Minus f of x over h. So in my mind, there's three parts to this equation. Here's what we start with. We're going to take this guy and plug it into this guy into the three different places. 1, 2, 3. So the first one is f of x plus h. So that means I'm going to take f of x and I'm going to replace the x with x plus h. So in black, this becomes 6 x plus h plus 9. In red, I'm just putting f of x. So it's just minus 6x plus 9. Don't forget those parentheses because we're subtracting. Divided by, well, h is its own thing, so just h just goes on the bottom. So essentially, all I've really done here is I've just taken this x plus h and replaced it into that one so that I could put it inside of this one right here on the first part, because that's the f of x plus h portion. A little bit crazy, but if you're a systematic person, then that's not going to freak you out much. And now we simplify. So remember, when we simplify, that means that we have to look for parentheses, combine like terms, all that good stuff. So we start on the left-hand side and we distribute. We get 6x plus 6h plus 9 minus 6x minus 9 all over h. We start simplifying this at this point, combining like terms. We have a positive 6x and a negative 6x, those cancel. We've got a positive 9 and a negative 9, those cancel. So right now we're sitting here with a 6h on top and an h on the bottom. The h's cancel, and my answer is 6. So pretty straightforward. This is called the difference quotient. Plugging it in. Give me 1 second here. Let's take a look at the next example before I jump into it. All right, so here we are, and we're at this problem. And the reason I want to go over this one is to kind of assure you that of what you have to get yourself into, because this is a pretty big commitment on this one. So that is a very basic introduction to difference quotient. You're just going to go in there and just do. It's a linear equation. It plugs in. It's nice and neat. It's a great introductory example. This guy is to something like you're going to see on your test. So let me see which one's best for us to do here. Yeah. So we're not going to do this one right here. We're going to take a look at this guy. So obviously we have a squared function. Things get a little more complicated when we go squared. So let's go ahead and set it up. We're going to plug it into our function. So we're going to do the f of x plus h first. So that becomes negative 6. We replace the x with x plus h squared. Plus 8. We replace the x with x plus h. Plus 5. Okay, so that's what we just did was this portion right here. We took the function and we evaluated it for x plus h. All right, so now we go minus, open parentheses, right? So we're subtracting, and we literally just take f of x. This is f of x. So it's just negative 6x plus 8x plus 5. All of that over h. All right, so there's our setup. From that point, our job is to simplify. So when we take a look at this piece right here, we have to realize that that is x plus h squared. So come off on the side of your paper, we know that x plus h squared is actually x plus h times x plus h, which means that we need to FOIL. We FOIL that together, we get x squared plus xh plus xh plus h squared. We simplify, that gives us x squared plus, oops, I already put plus down, plus we have 1, 2, so 2xh plus h squared. So now we're going to take that and bring it back over here, and what we really have right here, we have negative 6 times x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. And if you want to start simplifying other spots, you can. So if you want to start distributing, so that way you don't have to rewrite it several times, so we can distribute this guy as we copy it down. So plus 8x plus 8h plus 5. We can go ahead and distribute that negative. So negative times a negative is a positive. A negative times a positive is a negative. And a negative times a positive is a negative, all over h. Unfortunately, we still need to multiply that 6 through there. So we got to multiply that negative 6 inside of those 3 spots right there. So that gives us negative 6x squared minus 12xh minus 6h squared. Bring everything else down. We could actually cancel those. A positive 8 and negative 8 cancel. A positive 5 and a negative 5 cancel. So we really just got plus 8h plus 6x squared over h. Scan across, you're going to see a negative 6x squared, a positive 6x squared, those cancel. So this becomes negative 12xh minus 6h squared, that's a 6 right there, plus 8h all over h. Now this guy has a common factor. If you notice, all of these guys on top have an h in them. H, 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 and there's an h on the bottom. So a couple things. I mean, obviously you can kind of mentally you can see this and cancel it. You can also factor an h out of the top. You know, so if you just want to cancel it emotionally, you can. So, but I'm just rewriting it just so we can just see. So if I factored the h out of the top, I took an h out of the first term. I took one h out of the second term. I had 2 of them to choose from, and I took an h out of the last term. That way, those h's would cancel. Either way, that brings me down to my final answer. Whether you just canceled like this, brings me down to my final answer of negative 12x minus 6h plus 8. And that is my difference quotient solution when I have a little more complicated quadratic there. All right, that wraps up different quotient. One more section.